Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I'm joining you this morning with a cup of herbal adaptogen tea. I want to chat with you today a little bit about knowing when or how you've made an impact on your patients. So this is something I want to share about in story form, a couple of stories actually that most recently happened. First of all, I was thinking about a patient who I treated well over a year ago who had suffered a spinal cord injury, and the prognosis wasn't great, but ended up doing remarkably well, left the hospital at an independent level with a gait aid, and continued the course of their journey in rehab from there as well. And it was kind of crazy because a couple weeks ago I was thinking about them and I was wondering how they were doing. And I was wishing them well in my head. And then just a few days ago, I got a note from them. And the note, just to paraphrase, basically said that they were still at it, they were still working at it. And every time they're training, in gait training, they're thinking of me. And they were thinking about how fortunate they were to have me as their therapist at the time in hospital and how much I had given them. And obviously, they didn't mean literally giving them anything, but what they meant was how much I had helped, how much I had served. And they knew how invested I was in their well-being and maximizing their independence again. And it was kind of a crazy story when you think about it. And these are one of the things I talk about when I talk about making an impact, but also about the power of communication yielding connection. We can't get to connection without communicating. And not only that, the connection is kind of what happens after the fact in a way, right? It might not happen necessarily in the moment, but it might happen later on. And that's just the power of like an awakened provider, right? For that to have happened, to me, I don't believe in coincidences. To me, that is a spiritual type energy that is going on. And is just basically showing itself and saying, yeah, you're right. Like you're on the right path. This is what you need to continue to do. Another interesting story, this just most recently happened with a patient of mine who has Parkinson's, and we were doing an exercise together, and I was encouraging her to use her voice because her volume of speech is very low. So I was encouraging her to speak loudly and use her voice as we were counting repetitions of an exercise. And we got to the number 8, and I thought to myself, oh, that's my favorite number. And then after we were done the exercise, I asked her what her favorite number was. And she said, it's 8. And I thought, oh my God, how amazing. And again, it was another moment that validated the experience, that validated where I was at, that strengthened connection through communication. Okay. So these are the things I represent. When I talk about communication in healthcare, it's not just about the literal conversation all the time. It's what it means. And it's how it makes your patients feel. Right? Maya Angelou's famous quote is one I live by. People will forget what you did for them, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that is the philosophy I go into every single interaction with. And I hope that I help my patients to feel uplifted, to feel encouraged, to feel motivated, and to not give up on themselves and give up on their potential. So these are one of the things that I think give you an indication of whether or not you've had an impact. And the reality is when patients leave your care at some point, they're going to encounter other practitioners along the way. So when a patient comes back around over a year later to me, and this happens a bit in my career, has happened, it's quite remarkable to know that they are thinking of me, right? That's something that they're doing or something that they saw or something that they witnessed that it brought our interaction and our time together to light again. That means a lot to me as a practitioner to know that I've had that kind of impact on someone's life. That's what being in service is all about for me. It's not just the current moment, but it's when they leave your care, what mark you've left. And that's part of what I mean when I say, are you working a job or are you working and living your legacy? I would hope that part of my legacy is she gave 100%, 110%, and she put her heart into healthcare every single day. So I want you to take a moment to reflect on where in your career patients have given you insight, because sometimes we need that you've had an impact. Sometimes we're so quick to forget about it, right? Someone says thank you and we're quick to forget about it and we're on to the next patient. But can you reflect over 2 or 3 patients over the course of your career who have really felt your impact and have really gone above and beyond to actually reach out and let you know? Okay, it could be something they said. It could be a handwritten note. It could be a visit from over a year ago, that type of thing. It could be a phone call after a while, after a discharge. It could be anything along those lines. But I want you to think about that this morning, or if you're hearing this podcast on your morning commute, and I hope that it uplifts you, and I hope that it validates your path right now and your purpose in where you are, and that you continue to serve with your best heart no matter what, because your patients deserve it, of course, but so do you, okay? And let me know what you think. If you like this podcast, please send me a message on Instagram. My handle's @bestobsessedwithjen. I would love to hear your stories of patient impact and success and their gratitude to you for that. I would love to hear that. And I think we need to be sharing more of that as healthcare providers, especially right now during the pandemic. It's a very lonely time right now in healthcare, and it's a very hard time right now for all of us. And whenever we can get a win, we should be taking it and we should be running with it and sharing it and lifting each other up by encouraging. Okay, and until we chat next time, I hope you stay well and stay happy. So if you guys like this podcast, please subscribe and leave an honest review. Your feedback means everything to me. Your reviews are what moves this podcast forward, and I always appreciate receiving them. If you want to get a hold of me directly, reach out to me on social media. My handles are in the show notes, and you can always subscribe to my weekly newsletters at jennifergeorge.co so that we can stay connected. So until next time, thank you guys so much again for your ongoing support.